I came across a question when I was browsing through one of the Facebook groups for Idle Heroes that asked quite simply, is Swordflash only viable to build if I have 8 Demon Bells? And that made me realize, oh no, they watched my video and that's caused them to jump to that conclusion. Yikes. I realized that that was a takeaway from a video that I made and suddenly realized it was a misinterpretation. And it's not this person's fault. It is entirely my fault for not being clear about things in that video, because we were talking about artifacts, and unfortunately when you're discussing artifacts, when you gloss over something like saying 8 Demon Bells makes Swordflash really good, it's great to build her when you have them, suddenly people start saying, wait, hang on a second, is it only good to build Swordflash when I have 8 Demon Bells? And suddenly we get ourselves in problems. So today we're going to be talking about your first Transcendence hero and why you should build Swordflash versus why you shouldn't. And it's not even that you shouldn't, it's just what you should consider. At the end of the day, it's all about what progress you can make on your account, so that's what we're going to be talking about, folks. Let's get into the game and talk about some heroes. Here we go. So, here they are, the Transcendence heroes, right? You're probably thinking, which one should I make as my first? Everyone everywhere will tell you in probably modern Idle Heroes era anyway, that Swordflash is the go-to. Only if you're watching really, really old videos or very, very new videos will anybody ever suggest Halora, and even there are some people that are saying Vesa could be a really good pick. Now, they're the main 3 we're going to be talking about. All the others do have their merits, but it's mainly going to be Vesa, Halora, or Swordflash because they are just the best 3. Now, what makes them all really, really good? Well, the first things first, we have to talk about the best, the golden girl, the one herself, it's Swordflash. Why is Swordflash good? Well, it all comes down to a few things. First of all, she's exceptionally good in pretty much every single game mode. You can use her as a solo carry hero, and it all comes down to the fact she deals a ton of damage and is very hard to kill. Why is she hard to kill? Well, she just dodges everything. It's stupid. Also, if she does dodge, she then gets Impeccable Flow, and then Impeccable Flow makes her active skill really, really good, and she does a ton of damage, and everybody dies, and it's wonderful. And, yeah, well, Impeccable Flow also ideally happens when she kills someone as well. That's the main thing you want to happen. So there's your little things. You want Swordflash to kill someone, trigger Impeccable Flow, massive active skill, everyone's a winner. Also, after she's done an attack, she gains Sharpness, and that gives her a 100% dodge chance, which means the first thing that hits her is just, nope, you missed, sorry, and it's good. So, Swordflash, why is she strong? What is the whole hype? I've explained she's good, but what do we use her for? What's the main reason to build a Swordflash? Well, it all comes down to the Void Vortex. And the Void Vortex is what you mainly use her in. You hop in here, and you use her in a team to burst through a lot of this. Now, obviously, this could all change with new updates that add more power, which are things that are coming out in the future, so just be aware of that. But generally, the best way to clear through the Vortex is to just supercharge a Swordflash and make her wipe everybody out. If you haven't seen clears in the past, the idea is simple. You either do a basic attack or an active skill with Swordflash in round 1. She kills someone. That someone will be the lowest HP opponent. You run her with Drake, with Rogan, anything to make her stronger. The Drake debuffs the lowest HP opponent. Swordflash goes bonk, they die, then round 2 she has Impeccable Flow and an active skill. And she's ideally been energy fed, which makes that even more powerful, and then she goes, everyone dies, and then you're like, yay, I won, and then if you didn't win, Ignis gives energy to her, and then she does it all again in round 3, Impeccable Flow, GG, you win. It's nice, it's a very efficient way to clear through Vanquisher. It's not that simple, right? There's Garudas and there's carries and Amun-Ra's and all things that are going to get in your way and make it difficult, but in theory, it works. And it's very, very effective. However, it's very effective at Defire and above. Everywhere else there, you can actually do with other heroes. You can do it all with a supercharged Eloise. In fact, I think there was a Defire clear with a supercharged Eloise, and it was incredibly impressive, and very, very difficult and very expensive. But generally, you can get to Defire alone with an Eloise. So when people are like, oh, great, right, so I need 8 Demon Bells for Swordflash to be good. The answer is not yes. The answer is you need 8 Demon Bells to make Swordflash surpass what you can do with an Eloise. Which means, if you're smart, you think, right, Eloise is cheap, she's easy to build, and if she can do everything Swordflash can do up until I have 8 Demon Bells, I might as well just be using Eloise, not Swordflash. And that's why I didn't recommend Swordflash as a first Transcendence hero necessarily, because everything you're going to be using Swordflash to do, Eloise can do up until the point that you get the Demon Bells. However, what if you don't have Eloise? And what if you've already built a Rogan and a Drake and start saying, well, I was going to build Swordflash? Well, then just build Swordflash. She's a very powerful first Transcendence hero. She's really, really, really good. But a lot of what makes her good is on teams where there's energy feed and also there is a Halora. And that's why I was saying maybe Halora. Emphasis on maybe Halora is an interesting first pick if you're going in with Eloise. And some people were like, what, does that mean that Halora synergizes with Eloise? Does that mean my Halora is going to replace Eloise? No, if you're thinking like that, you're thinking square brain. The point is, Halora is useful. Halora is going to offer a damage boost to the team. She's also going to allow you to get Queen's Guard and all other things like that are very fun powers, and she's also going to do some burn, she's going to do Abyssal Corruption. Good abilities, right? Very strong abilities. However, if you use Halora plus Swordflash, you are approaching realms of very efficient ways of clearing through the vortex. Halora plus Swordflash plus Rogan's Drakes and an Ignis will get you right up to Vanquisher. It won't clear Vanquisher by no means, not at the moment anyway, but it certainly will get you to Vanquisher, and that is why I like going with Halora then Swordflash or Swordflash then Halora, because both of them together is just really good. However, some people who are super duper hardcore into mega theory crafting were like, whoa, MK, don't recommend people Halora for the simple reason Vesa is technically better alongside an Eloise, or at least she could be. There's another one, coulds and maybes. You'll love it when I say that, because it leaves you having to make a choice for yourself. But either way, Vesa is very powerful. She heals, she offers shields, she's a very strong hero. Now, if I'm going to be down-to-earth realistic, if someone could turn around to me and said, ideal first Transcendence hero alongside an Eloise, I would probably say Vesa, because Vesa is so efficient and able to do so much in things like the Star Expedition, in just broken spaces for sheer damage, and her utility is ridiculously efficient on a team. However, if you go and build Vesa, you haven't built Halora, which means you can't do Halora plus Swordflash. But then there might be the question, can you just do it with Vesa plus Swordflash? There is possibly a chance. Who knows? Maybe you go as Halora as your third Transcendence hero. And this results in this awkward question, which of these three do I build first? And honestly, it really depends on how hard you're in on the Eloise train and how happy you are with what your Eloise is doing. And that raises the question of, well, what if I'm not building an Eloise? In that case, build Swordflash. Hopefully that makes sense, because I'm aware that previously people were starting to think, hang on a second, you said 8 Demon Bells, then get Swordflash. And it's not that black and white. It's not that simple. Nothing ever is. And this is what happens when people take something I say out of context without thinking about it. And it gets me into a lot of trouble. It gets them into a lot of trouble, and it makes so much miscommunication and rumor and hearsay go around the community, so it's not helpful for everyone, so videos like this have to happen. So I'll say it again. If you have 8 Demon Bells, your Swordflash will be able to do some really incredible things that will probably surpass the power that you can get from a Void Home, Tenanty, Fancy Smancy Eloise, right? Eloise is good, but she's never going to be as good as an energy-fed Swordflash because of the impeccable flow, mega damage, let's go nuts, right? But that's assuming you also build all the heroes to work with that, Rogan, Drake, etc. But everything's assuming, right? You know, Eloise, what if you didn't build any Tenants for her? She's not going to be as good as if you did, right? So you've always got to weigh that up. However, it is literally a question between Eloise versus Swordflash. That's your mid-game plan. It is one of these two heroes. You either go all in on Eloise, and you just do loads of game modes with her, or you go all in on a Swordflash as your first Transcendence hero and do everything with her. Or you could build Eloise and then just build Swordflash to accompany her, that's fine, but you probably still won't put your Void 4 homeliness all over your Swordflash, because you'll still want to keep it on your Eloise until you get those Demon Bells, because everything the Eloise is doing is going to be better than Swordflash, or equal to Swordflash, until you get those 8 Demon Bells. In the meantime, that then raises the question, well, what if I'm not going to get 8 Demon Bells until I have a second Transcendence hero? And it's that thought process that leads people to think, well, maybe I don't need Swordflash straight away because I'm just getting her a little too early and I'm not going to put her to her full use. People that are thinking like that would then suggest maybe it's Halora to help you out in things like Seal Land and just do the various things that Halora is very good at. Or maybe it's Vesa, because Vesa is very strong, very powerful, offers a lot of utility, and is going to help out your Eloise in things like the Realms Gate and various game modes like that, which will make Eloise more effective. That doesn't mean Halora can't make your team more effective. You've got to admit, look at this, straight up, all damage dealt plus 15%. Ta-da, right? That's just really good. Stick that on Eloise, she's going to have a great time. So Eloise plus Halora isn't bad, but the amount of utility that Vesa offers is also attractive. And see, this is where we're in a point now where it's like, you know, sometimes you have to think for yourselves. Sometimes you have to weigh up, well, how good is my Eloise? What am I going to get out of this? And what do I want to do? Don't let some dude on the internet tell you what to build. Don't let me say to you, this is the first Transcendence hero you should go for. I've narrowed it down to 3. And the question all you need to ask is, are you using Eloise? Yes or no? If no, go for Swordflash. If yes, I don't know, pick one of them. Which one ever brings you the most fun? There will be an official answer that one is the best one to go with next to an Eloise, but that's do whatever's fun. You're eventually going to build all three of them anyway. Ideally as your first three, and then eventually Jara shows up once you've got all the artifacts for that madness to clear Vanquisher. But even with new updates coming out, we might not even need Jara anymore. Don't quote me on that, because it might not be the case. But however, there are powerful updates coming out very soon that are going to add a little bit of power creep to the game and maybe make us able to clear the vortex. But then they're also adding extra layers to the vortex, so maybe Jara is going to be necessary. See, isn't that fun? They make the game easier, but also make it harder at the same time. DH Games, you're great. So hopefully that answers some of your questions that were raised and some of your concerns that you may have had about whether you should or shouldn't build Swordflash as a first Transcendence hero. Do I think it's bad? No, I think she's great. Do I think Halora's bad? No, I think she's great, but if you're going to build Halora, you need a jolly good reason to not build Swordflash. That's the point. The point is you need a really good reason to not go for Swordflash. And there's only one reason that's good enough to say, you know what, maybe I'm going to wait on the Swordflash, and she's right here. It's Eloise. I don't think there's any hero that could rival Swordflash, apart from that one right there. So that's just worth you thinking about, right? Are you having a fun time with Eloise? Is she doing all your work? If so, maybe don't go for Swordflash as a first Transcendence hero. It's not set in stone. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, if it was helpful, if it answered the question that was bugging you for the last week, let me know as well. Either way, folks, it's been a pleasure. I'm glad I was able to get this out. I know it feels a bit rushed and a bit panicked, but mainly because I'm rushed and panicked by the very fact that people are jumping to conclusions again. So, yeah, that's kind of my fault for not being as transparent or clear. Again, if there are any confusions, do exactly what this person did and ask questions. Cool. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, and happy idling.